Hi, how you doing? I um I was listening to a great webinar today about patient engagement, patient-parent engagement, patient partnerships. It was great. Holland Bloorview kids, they know a lot about patient engagement here in Ontario. So they've done a lot of research about it, and they have it. Well, they talk about it as a very functional part of how their whole organization works. So if you want to know anything about being involved and in a meaningful way, which I love that tenet that they have, then check them out. Um, well, I'll put the website there. And okay, so one of the things that I thought about, from this webinar and leaving the webinar is that my experience has always been a medical mom, a complex medical mom, of a person who had a fragile disease. And that puts me into 1% of the pediatric population that uses almost 100% of services. So it's a very small group, marginalized by a lot of different issues. And today I'm going to talk about being the bedside mom. And how do you engage the bedside mom? Because I'm going to guess you can't even see her, right? She's not going to be leaving the bedside of her kid, taking off to go join you for a meeting. Well, okay, that's not true. Sometimes we do that. But it's very difficult, and we have to mount up a whole lot of energy to be able to do that. I'm going to show you what being a bedside mom looks like. So here, this is my bedside in ICU, one of our many admissions. This horrible pull-out chair, oh my gosh. It's a chair daytime, but it's a horrible sleep nighttime. But you're exhausted, so you just sleep. And then, then there's also, here, hold on, I gotta switch the picture. Oh, wrong picture. Wow, that looks like me pretty stressed out, doesn't it? We'll come back to that. Okay, and this is our Christmas tree. Literally at Christmas we decorate it if we're for an admission. All these pumps and bags and stuff hanging there. It doesn't look too different at home. So we have at home, we have this sort of equipment as part of our lifestyle. We've got oxygen tubing hanging out. We've got electronics because that's important to the child, the person. And then we just live around all of this stuff. And on the other side of the bed would be a BiPAP machine. And then this would be me, how I live bedside. I'm sharing this because this lifestyle gets transitioned home. And it often gets transitioned home in a very slow and steady way, right? It's the development of disease over a lifespan, whatever that lifespan is. And that transition home is very unique. It's manageable. It's even more manageable if you get services. You just sort of exist on a level of being hypervigilant and being exhausted without sleep. And there's just this whole other functioning level that exists at that place. But I'm tied to the bedside, right? Unless my kid is well enough to leave bedside and do something, we're tied home and we're tied to the bedside. And unless there is resource to help with food, transportation, time and energy, that's the biggest one, aka, and then respite. It's very difficult for me as a medical mom, a complex mom, to show up at a table and to consult, to feel part of any consultation, any kind of partnership. And the challenge to you, whoever might be watching this, If you're a medical mom, it's an ask to the organizations. And if you're an organization, it's figuring out how can you get to bedside? How can you get there and have meaningful conversations with this person who uses so much of the services, so much about how things function and how to have access to things. They've done the biggest fight ever. Those are the people you want to have some words with. And it will not be, I've said this before, I guess maybe I'm just repeating myself, but it's not the 40 question survey, it's having a meaningful conversation. If I had to prioritize 3 things, what would it be and why do you think that is? Have a conversation with me at bedside. We're sitting in Emerge and we're just waiting to be admitted. We're sitting in ICU and we're just waiting for some stabilization. It doesn't have to be formalized as a business and come in and I'm going to check the boxes. It's show up and just be present with me for where I'm at, which is bedside. And somebody today in the course talked about the people who have the most complaints are the ones that you want to be working with. But the people that have the most access to services in your hospital are the ones that are invisible, sitting bedside with their children, if not in hospital, then at home. Those are the people you want to understand, and you want to have representation at your tables in some meaningful way so that their voices get heard, so that the most complex of system navigation in your organization can be addressed because there's somebody that knows what everybody else doesn't know yet. All right, well, there's my Thursday, I'm going to say rant, but it's valuable information. And I hope that you can take away from it, challenge your organization, challenge your leadership, find innovative ways to have inclusion and meaningful connection. And don't say Zoom because, the person by bedside is still exhausted and distracted. We've got to find different ways. All right. Thank you so much for your time. Appreciate you listening to me. Go forward and listen to the other moms. Take care.